Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And then next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell. And when you click on that bell, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded. And one last thing, don't forget to be awesome. So yeah, don't forget to be awesome. And yeah, man, sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen for July 28, 2021. Man, this is a great show, man. Really great show. Stacked show at that, man, too. Like, going into the show, man, you know, there was a lot of excitement in this show with the main event, Jericho versus Nick Gage, and in the Labor of Jericho, the second chapter. Crazy, crazy match too, man. With the light tubes and pizza cutters and all that stuff, the tables, the chairs, and the glass, the blood and all that stuff. Jericho and Nick Gage bleeding everywhere. Dude, it was a crazy main event, man. Really crazy. But yeah, like the entire show, man, it was just so fun, man. I enjoyed watching this show tonight. And this is exactly why AEW is so good, man. This is why AEW is on top of the world right now because of their shows. The weekly shows that they put on, man, is enjoyable, man. And the fans, man, I just love having the fans there. I love the fans there. And they actually made this show. They made this show. And having a crowd, man, having a crowd, I said this time and time again, it can make a show. You can either make a show or they can break a show. And in tonight's show, man, they just proved how great they are. AEW is, man. Call me an AEW mark. I don't care. I love AEW, man, because it's just a better show. It's the better show out of all wrestling companies. They just put on a better show. But yeah, man. So yeah, that was AEW, man. That was AEW Fight for the Fallen for July 28, 2021. And just like what I said in my intro, man, if you haven't done this already, man, hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And then right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell, and when you do that, you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here every single week, man. And so, yeah, man. So, for tonight's show, for Fight for the Fallen, we were live in Charlotte, North Carolina, or the Queen City, what they like to call it, the Queen City. And so, yeah, man. So yeah, we started off the show with a 10-man elimination tag team match, and it was Hangman Adam Page in a Dark Order. So that's Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus the Elite. So that's Kenny by God Omega, who is the AAA Mega Heavyweight Champion, the Unified Champion of Impact Wrestling, the Unified World Champion of Impact Wrestling, and the AEW World Champion, Kenny by God Omega. And the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, who are the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and the Good Brothers, Karl Anderson and Doc Gallows, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions, with Don Callis in their corner, who was on commentary. And so yeah, so first off, the Dark Order came out with Adam Hangman Page, and they were all wearing purple. They're all wearing purple, so because of the Dark Order colors, and so they came out to Adam Page's theme music. And so yeah, I did have one question though. I did have one question. Like, is Page a part of the Dark Order? Is he officially a part of the Dark Order now? Because I knew time and time again he said that he's not a part of the Dark Order, but he's friends with the Dark Order. So, but yeah, I asked that question because the nameplate, the nameplate that they have when they come out to their entrance, it said the Dark Order. It said the Dark Order instead of Adam Hangman Page and the Dark Order. So, is Page a part of the Dark Order? Is he the leader? Is he the new leader of the Dark Order? Yeah, that's the question. Is he a part of the Dark Order? But so right after that we had the Elite. So the Elite had came out after that. So they were wearing basketball clothing. They were billed as the Elite Squad, and so they came out and they had basketballs in their hand. They started dribbling the basketball, and they had the music, the basketball music. I don't know what type of music it was, but it was familiar music. It was the dun 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 dun. And so they started bouncing the basketball to the ring and everything. And they had the basketball goal, so they started shooting the basketball goal. I thought it was funny. I was like, man, what is going on here, man? These are our champions. Kenny Omega's the AEW World Champion. He coming out with basketballs and shooting the basketball. And the Bucks and the Good Brothers, they're tag team champions. So yeah, but yeah, this is a fun match, a really fun match to open up this show, man. So yeah, so we had Page and Anderson, they were going back and forth. And so, you know, also with this match, it was all over the place, so I could not keep enough notes down. So yeah, so all these teams they went inside the ring, so all teams were brawling with each other. The referee could not keep controlling this match. And so Alex Reynolds, he superplexes, so he superplexed Nick Jackson on top of everybody outside of the ring. And so yeah, at that point, the match was all over the place. We had tag team moves to Anderson from Silver and Reynolds. It was a stunner followed up by a German suplex. And we had a roll up to Reynolds from Anderson to eliminate Alex Reynolds. So Alex Reynolds is eliminated, so he's the first person eliminated. And so we had the fatality. We had the fatality to Anderson from Evil Uno and Stu Grayson to eliminate Karl Anderson. So Karl Anderson is eliminated right after he eliminated Alex Reynolds. And so yeah, so Silver he started throwing Matt Jackson around the ring. So we had a Johnny Hungy chant from the crowd. And so we had a 450 splash to Gallows from Stu Grayson, which was nice, beautiful, man. And so Omega he had broke up the pin. And we had a springboard twist and press. I don't know what it was, but they called it a springboard twist and press to everybody outside the ring from Stu Grayson. And so it was beautiful. The move was beautiful and nasty at the same time. Because, when Stu Grayson, he hit the move, like his head bounced off of that stage ramp. So his head went splat on that ground. And so they played it in replay. I was like, oh. I was like, man, I hope he's okay, man. And so, yeah, so Grayson and Gallows, they were fighting in the crowd. And so Grayson, he did ended up diving on Gallows on one platform in the crowd. And so they both got counted out. So the referee was counting to 10. So both of these guys, they got counted out without them knowing. So Stu Grayson and Doc Gallows got eliminated by a count out. And so yeah, Evil Uno, he was left. So yeah, we had Evil Uno and Kenny Omega. They were going back and forth in the ring. We had Uno. He had hit the end of days to Omega, and Omega kicked out. Wherever Baron Corbin is, he is not happy with that. And so yeah, we had Uno. He went for a senton bomb on Kenny Omega, but Omega got his knees up. And so we had a V-trigger. We had the V-trigger to Evil Uno from Kenny Omega. I love the V-trigger, man. And so yeah, and then right after he hit the V-trigger, he hit the one-wing angel to Uno from Omega to win the match. Not win the match, but eliminate Evil Uno. So Evil Uno is eliminated by Kenny Omega. And so Silver, he went right after Omega. And so Silver, he was all over the place. He took out every single member of the Elite. And so we had a Johnny Hungy chant from the crowd again. And so we had like a torture rack spinning slam to Nick from Silver, and he kicked out. And so we had kicks and super kicks to Nick Jackson from John Silver. And so Nick, so we had Matt Jackson, he was outside, and he had Nick in the power driver position. So Nick, he was going for the indie taker on Silver, and so they had the basketball go over Matt and Silver. And so Nick, his whole thing in being the elite is shooting the basketball, the trick shotter. I think that's what he called himself, the trick shotter or the trickster shotter. And so yeah, so Nick, he tried to hit the indie taker and dunk the basketball at the same time, but he missed. And so yeah, he missed it. They did ended up hitting the indie taker, but he still missed the shot, the dunk. And so yeah, so Nick, he ended up grabbing the basketball and he dunked the ball in the basketball this time. The basketball going, he made it this time. And so the crowd started chanting, "You still missed, you still missed." So I love that part, man. That was funny. And so yeah, we had the BTE trigger to Silver from the Bucks to eliminate John Silver. So John Silver is eliminated. So therefore, Adam Hangman Page is all alone on his side. And so we had Page and Omega. They were face to face. And so Omega, I think he spit in Page's face. And so they were going back and forth. And so we had a V trigger to Adam Hangman Page. We had a super kick. We had the super kick party to Page from Omega and the Bucks. And so Page, he kicked out. And we had a draping 450 splash to Page from Nick Jackson. He kicked out. And so Page, he was fighting back, trying to fight back. And he took out the Bucks. And he had an outside moonsault to Omega and the Bucks. And we had a pop-up powerbomb to Omega from Page. And Nick, he had broke up the pin. And we had a double buckshot lariat to the Bucks from Page. And I think he pinned Matt Jackson to eliminate him. And so we had Page, he hit the dead eye. He hit the dead eye to Omega. And Omega, he kicked out at the last second. So that was a close one. The crowd thought it was it, but he kicked out. And so Nick, Page, he was trying to go for the buckshot lariat, but Nick, he had stopped Page from hitting the buckshot lariat. And so Omega, he tried to use one of the belts, one of his championship belts or one of the tag team belts from the Bucks to try to hit Page with it. But the first time the referee took the championship away from Omega. And so Omega ended up grabbing another championship and he hit Page with the championship. And so Omega thought it was it. So he went for the cover. So, Page, he kicked out. We had a V trigger. We had a V trigger to a series. We had a series of V triggers to Page from Omega. And so to end the match, we had the one wing angel to Adam Hangman Page from Kenny Omega to win the match. So yeah, that if he hit that one wing angel, that's it, man. There's no kicking out of that. So Kenny Omega and the Elite wins the match. And that was it, man. That was it. So yeah, just like what I said earlier, man, it was a fun match to start off the show. Going into this match, they did kind of like they booked this match into a corner because you can't have the champions lose. Like you can't, because every single member of the Elite are champions. You have Gallows and Anderson, who are the Impact World Tag Team Champions, and you have the Bucks, who are the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and you had Omega, who is the AEW World Champion. So none of these guys could lose. But every single member of each team got eliminated. So both teams did end up losing, but in the end, Kenny Omega won the match. So, and rightfully so. There was no way you're gonna pin the world champion. But yeah, so yeah, that was it with the match. But that's another question though. Like, what's next for Adam Hangman Page? Because we all know that he's gonna be the one to end up taking the championship off of Omega. But now that he lost this match, now he and the Dark Order lost the match. They can't go after the championships. They can't go after their respective championships. So what's next for Page? Now that he can't challenge for the AEW World Championship, when we all know that he should challenge for the World Championship? What's next? What's gonna be next for him? Like, I don't know, man. He might find a way to get back into it, but he can't challenge for the championship. He can't. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with him, man. I don't know what they're gonna do with Page and his hunt for the AEW World Championship. But we'll find out as the weeks go by. And so yeah, so right after that we had a backstage interview. So we had Alex Marvez. He interviews the Bastard Pac. And so yeah, it was supposed to be Alex Marvez interviewing the Death Triangle, but Pac was there alone. So the Lucha Bros, they were not there. They did not make it there yet. And so yeah, so Pac said that the Lucha Bros, they weren't there yet because I think they had like a late flight or something like that, or somebody messed with their travel stuff. And so we had Chavo and Andrade El Idolo. They interrupted Pac while he was talking. And so they told Pac to to treat his people better. So that way it'll never happen again. So yeah, so Andrade, he wants the Death Triangle, not the Death Triangle. He wants the Lucha Bros to join him. He wants the Lucha Bros to join him. And I think that's a great idea, man. I really do think it's a great idea. I think Pac is the type of person that should be alone. He's a loner, man. He's a loner. He's always been a loner in his career. So yeah, and the Lucha Bros with Andrade, they will fit better, man. Have them as a heel faction, man. They will work well together, well together. But I don't think they're gonna turn the Lucha Bros heel. I don't think so. I really don't. That's just me. I don't think they will. But yeah, it will be the right move. It'll be the right move to align them with Andrade because they fit well together. Besides Pac, because Pac is not a person that plays well with others. So you don't want him to team up with people. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that we had the FTW Championship Celebration. So Ricky Starks, who is the new FTW champion, my fellow Louisianian, Ricky Starks. So he came out with Hook. And so yeah, the jazz trumpets, playing for Ricky Starks because he's from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so yeah, the trumpets playing the theme for New Orleans. And so Starks he had came out. So Starks he had said that he made history. He made history by becoming the FTW champion by beating Brian Cage, that piece of garbage, Brian Cage. And so Starks he says that Cage he doesn't know the definition of teamwork. He doesn't, or the importance of teamwork, because when Starks got hurt, Cage he didn't check on him. He didn't check on Starks to see how he was feeling. And so yeah, so Cage he came out, he interrupted, and he took out the musicians. I don't know why he took out the musicians. I don't know what the musicians did to Cage, but he took out the tromboners, the trumpets, the tromboners, whatever they call them. And so yeah, he took out the musicians, and so Cage he tried to take out Ricky Starks, but Starks and Hook they got out of there. And so that was it. That was it with that. Now Brian Cage is a single star. I'm gonna let it play out. I'm gonna give it a chance, see how everything turns out. But I still think that he still needs Taz. He needs somebody to speak for him. But yeah, well we'll see. We'll see how it plays out though. And so yeah, man, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a vignette. We had a vignette from Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so he spoke. He said that he will be challenging the winner of the IWGP Championship match. So whoever wins the championship match, either Hikuleo or Lance Archer, Hiroshi Tanahashi said he's next. And so it's going to be at that New Japan pay-per-view. I forgot the name of the pay-per-view. So he's going to be challenging for the U.S. title at the New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had a tag team match. And this was the match I was looking forward to all week, man. We had FTR representing the Pinnacle. FTR, that's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, with Tully Blanchard in their corner versus Proud and Powerful representing the Inner Circle. That's Santana and Ortiz with Konnan in their corner. And so yeah, so FTR, of course, they were in their hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina. And so FTR, they came out to their own theme music. They came out to their original theme music, Old School Raised. So yeah, I love that song, man. Really did. It's a play off of their old theme song in WWE. So I love the fact that they used their theme song. They got their theme song back. And so yeah, and so yeah, so yeah, I was looking forward for this match, but it's unfortunate on what happened in the match. With Dax Harwood getting hurt, not Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler getting hurt and all that stuff. And so yeah, so this match ended quickly. And so yeah, but both of these teams, man, they are my top favorite tag teams, man. But FTR is my number one. They are my number one favorite tag team in all of wrestling, man. FTR. And this match right here is, I said this time and time again, man. If you have these guys feuding for the tag team championships, man, that will be one hell of a match, man. One hell of a match. So yeah, this is a tag team championship type match, man. And we will definitely see a rematch with these guys. And so yeah, so we had Ortiz and Wheeler. They were going back and forth. We had Santana and Harwood. They were going back and forth with chops. We had the Three Amigos to Harwood from Santana. We had a Eddie chant from the crowd, paying homage to Eddie Guerrero. And we had a spinebuster to Ortiz from Harwood, which was nice, man. Beautiful. We had a hot tag to Santana. He took out FTR. A Tope con Hero to Wheeler from Santana. And we had a Tope Suicida to Wheeler from Ortiz off of a kick out. So that was beautiful too, man. And so we had Santana, he had a frog splash to Harwood. So Santana, he was paying homage to legendary Eddie Guerrero. And so Harwood, he kicked out of the move. And so we had a tornado DDT to Ortiz from Wheeler, which was nice, man. Beautiful, man. The speed of that tornado DDT, that was better than Fuego del Sol's tornado DDT. So both of these teams, they're going back and forth. And so yeah, this is the point. So we had Santana and Wheeler, they were fighting on the top rope. And so Santana, he knocked Wheeler, he knocked Wheeler off of the top rope, and so Wheeler, he had hit his arm, whether it was on a ring post or the turnbuckle still, I don't know what it was, but he hit his arm on the post. And so right after that, he started grabbing at his arm. And so when he started grabbing at his arm, at first I thought he was playing selling the move and all that stuff. But when he went to go walk to the other side of the ring, I was like, oh man, this is serious. This is serious. And so the referee had the motion. I saw the referee, giving like hand signals and all that stuff. I was like, man, this is bad. And so yeah, we had a superplex to Ortiz from Harwood, and Ortiz kicked out. And so, and then right after that, to end the match, we had a brain buster to Ortiz from Harwood to win the match. So FTR wins the match, and that was it. So the match had to end quickly, man, because of Wheeler getting hurt in the match. And so yeah, but yeah, I hope he's okay, man. I hope he is okay because right after the match, this guy was bleeding everywhere. Like he had blood coming out of his arm, and the blood was on the floor, on the ground. And I was like, oh my god, man, like, dude. Ugh. But yeah, I hope it's not too bad, man. I hope it's not too bad. He probably needs some stitches or something, but I hope it's not that bad because FTR is freaking great, man, and I would love to see a feud with Santana and Ortiz and FTR. But yeah, we will, we will be seeing a rematch with these guys. But yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, so right after that, we had a backstage interview from Tony Schiavone. He interviews Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, who is the AEW Women's World Champion with Rebel. And so Baker, she talked about tapping out Nyla Rose with a broken wrist. So yeah, Britt Baker, she did get hurt in that match. She had a broken wrist. So yeah, so that's unfortunate too. And so Baker, she said that she's gonna find somebody to help protect them because Reba, she's always getting hurt, and Baker, she's always getting hurt too. So she has some protection. And so Baker, she said that the locker room is jealous of her, so that's why they keep going after her. And so that was it with that. So who is this protection that Britt Baker is talking about? I don't know, but we'll find out. I don't have any guesses right now, but we'll find out. And whoever it is, man, whoever this protection is, they'll be better off because they're with Britt Baker, man. And Britt Baker is over, man. She is really over with the crowd. And so yeah, man, that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Tony Schiavone again. He was in the ring, not in the ring. He was on the stage. He was promoting Rampage. So the Rampage, I'm guessing the Rampage after the debut. So August the 20th, I think it is August the 20th. It's gonna be in Chicago. And so Tony Schiavone, he announced that, and so the crowd started chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk because he's from Chicago, and he's potentially going into AEW. So that's why we had a CM Punk chant. And so yeah, man. And so right after that, man. So yeah, so CM Punk, I think CM Punk, he'll show up at All Out. That's my best guess. He's showing up at All Out. And so yeah, so right after that, we had a backstage interview from Alex Marvez. So he interviews Darby Allin and Sting. So yeah, let's hear what Darby Allin had to say, man.
Sting, Darby Allin, we just heard the huge news. AEW coming to the United Center in Chicago, August 20th. The first dance for Rampage.
The first dance, that's what it's called.
Chicago. You know, I've been around a lot of men in this world that have laid claim to how they're the greatest. And there's only one place to really prove that. Right here in AEW.
Yeah.
Even if you think you are the best in the world.
Oh, yeah. Even if you're the best in the world. So that was a shot. That was a shot at CM Punk, man. That was a clear shot at CM Punk. And so yeah, you know, because he's the only person that calls himself the best in the world in wrestling, CM Punk. So yeah, now that he mentioned CM Punk, when CM Punk does show up in AEW, will he go after Darby Allin? You know, for putting his name in his mouth. Not, you know, he didn't actually mention CM Punk by name. He just said the best in the world, even if you think you're the best in the world. So will CM Punk go after Darby Allin? That would be a great first match for him too, man. But yeah, I think so. He will go after Darby Allin if when he shows up. So yeah, man. So that was it with that. The crowd absolutely popped for that when he said best in the world. When he said even if you think you're the best in the world, the crowd popped. They popped. So yeah, man. That was it with that. I can't wait until CM Punk come in, man. When CM Punk goes in, when CM Punk shows up, whether it's at All Out or that Rampage show, he's gonna most likely show up at All Out. So when he shows up at All Out, man, the freaking building, the roof on that building will explode. It will explode. And so yeah, man, I can't wait, man. That was it with that, man. And so yeah, so right after that we had the IWGP United States Championship match, and it was Hikuleo representing the Bullet Club with King Haku, legendary King Haku. So yeah, the crowd had popped when King Haku came out with Hikuleo versus Lance Archer, who is the IWGP United States Champion. So where was Jake the Snake Roberts? I don't know, but he wasn't there. So Lance Archer, he came out alone. And so yeah, so Hikuleo and Lance Archer, they went right after each other. And so we had a powerbomb to Archer, he kicked out. And we had forearm strikes to Hikuleo. And so we had a power slam. We had a power slam to Archer, so that was a Randy Orton-like power slam. And so yeah, King Haku, he got involved in the match, and he gave Lance Archer the tongue-in death grip to Archer during the commercial break, picture-in-picture, of course. And so Lance Archer, he walked on the top rope like he usually does, and he hit the moonsault to Hikuleo. You know, very impressive for a big guy. And so we had a superplex to Hikuleo. Very explosive, man. Two big guys hitting a superplex, man. Very explosive. And Hikuleo kicks out. And to end the match, we had Lance Archer hit his finishing move, the blackout, to Hikuleo to win the match. So Lance Archer wins the match and is still the IWGP United States Champion. So yeah, really good match, man. Short and sweet, wasn't too long. And Archer retains, man. Archer retains. Now Hikuleo, man, this dude is freakishly tall. He is very tall. Like Lance Archer, like when he stood next to Lance Archer, he was towering Lance Archer. Lance Archer is a tall guy himself, man. Lance Archer is 6'8". That's tall. That is tall. And Hikuleo was standing over him, was standing over Lance Archer. So Hikuleo got to be at least 7 feet. You got to be at least 7 feet or 7'1", or 6'9" or 7 feet. One of those heights. But that dude is freakishly tall. And so yeah, man. So yeah, Lance Archer retains the championship. So it's gonna be Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Lance Archer in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Archer, he has that ability to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling because he's the IWGP United States Champion. You know, AEW talent. So AEW talent showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so yeah, man. And just like I said this last week in the Impact review, man, this Forbidden Door storyline, man, is opening up some more, man, and it's continuing to open up. You know, Tanahashi, man. You know, Lance Archer showing up in New Japan. So yeah, we might have more New Japan talent. We might have more New Japan talent showing up on Dynamite. You know, Hikuleo showed up. You know, who else? It was Kenta. Kenta was the first person to show up, and Yuji Nagata was next. I think that was his name. Yeah, Yuji Nagata, he showed up. And then you had Hikuleo showed up with King Haku. And the next person, the final person, might be Jay White, man. Jay White might show up. Jay White, he showed up in Impact recently, so he might show up in Dynamite to have the Bullet Club versus the Elite, because that's the money match right there. So he might show up in Dynamite for that. But yeah, man, I'm loving this Forbidden Door storyline, man. At first, it didn't start off all that good, but as we got fans back, the Forbidden Door storyline, the door is literally open. Like, it's literally open. So yeah, man, that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, we had Alex Marvez. He interviews Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. And so yeah, he was sitting in Gorilla with Tony Khan, TK, Boss Man Tony Khan. So yeah, so the crowd was booing when they heard Cody Rhodes speak. So yeah, the crowd was booing when they heard Cody Rhodes speak. And so Malachi Black out of nowhere, he took out Cody Rhodes. The crowd was cheering for Black. And so they were fighting each other backstage. And so they took it to the ring, or took it to the stage. And so they were fighting on the stage. And so Black, he had took out Cody, knocked him out. And so the other wrestlers, other wrestlers and officials, they came out to go check on Cody. And so we had a black mask. So Black, he hit the black mask on Fuego del Sol. I mentioned Fuego del Sol earlier. So yeah, so we had a black mask of Fuego del Sol. And so I was like, oh no, not Fuego, not Fuego. And so yeah. So yeah, the crowd was cheering for Aleister Black. Oh, no, stop calling him Aleister Black. His name is Malachi Black. So yeah, the crowd was cheering for Malachi Black, and they were booing Cody Rhodes. Another interesting thing about this too. I didn't see this last time. Cody Rhodes was wearing a white suit, and Black was wearing a black suit. So it's good versus evil. White representing good, and Black representing evil and the devil and hell and all that stuff. So yeah, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that until this point. So yeah, so next week, man. Next week it will be Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black next week on Dynamite for the homecoming show. So that should be really good, man. Black is gonna be his first match there, so that's probably gonna be the match of the night. So yeah, so that was it with that, man. And so so right after that we had a backstage segment from Miro, God's favorite champion, Miro, who is the TNT champion. He spoke. He said that he will fight next week and he will defend his TNT championship. He will defend his TNT championship next week. And so he calls himself the Redeemer. And so Miro, he said that he will beat Lee Johnson because that's his challenger, Lee Johnson. So Lee Johnson, he did earn his opportunity for the TNT championship on AEW Dark when he defeated Dr. Luther. And so, yeah, Miro, he had mentioned Lana too in his promo, saying that she's double jointed or something like that, he said. And, that was it, man. So the next week is going to be Lee Johnson versus Miro for the TNT championship. And so, yeah, so right after that, we had a 6-man tag or a trios match. And it was the Hardy family office that's in Angelico and Private Party. And so, yeah, Angelico and Private Party, that's Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn with Matt Hardy in their corner versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. So that's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Marco Stunt in their corner. So yeah, we had Cage and Angelico. They were going back and forth. And then Jungle Boy, he took out Angelico. And then Jungle Boy, he took out Cassidy. And so Hardy, he decked Jungle Boy in his face outside the ring. So Cage and Marco Stunt, they chased away Matt Hardy. So I thought that was really funny. Seeing Matt Hardy just run away from those two, it was really funny. I really don't know what was funny about it, but it was funny to me. And so we had a hot tag to Luchasaurus. He took out the Hardy family office. And so we had a Luchasaurus chant from the crowd. We had a triple German suplex to the Hardy family office from Luchasaurus. And we had super kicks to Luchasaurus from Private Party, a Tope con Hero to Angelico and Cassidy from Jungle Boy. And at the end of the match, we had Christian Cage. He hit the frog splash to Mark Quinn to win the match. So Christian Cage and Jurassic Express wins the match. And so right after that, right after the match, Christian Cage, he was celebrating with the crowd. And so we had somebody dressed as a hoodie. an AEW hoodie and with a mask on. He knocked out Christian with the brass knucks, and so it was the blade. And so yeah, man, that was it. When is the Butcher coming back? I don't know, but from what I heard, he was touring with his band. The Butcher has a band of his own, so I heard he was touring with the band. So yeah, man, I want the Butcher and the Blade back, man, so they can be back together, vying after those tag team titles. So yeah, but yeah, that was it with that. So yeah, the match, it was really fun. It was a fun match. Crowd reaction, I love the crowd reaction too, man. But with this Christian Cage and Matt Hardy feud, man, can we just end the feud already? Because they already had their match already. Already had their one-on-one match, and Christian beat Matt Hardy. So I thought that would have been the end of it, but we still doing this feud. Just end it already, please. Oh yeah, I forgot to go back to my audience, the people, the awesome ones. I forgot to go back to you people. So yeah, so that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Nick Gage, Nick freaking Gage, or Nick effing Gage. You can't say that word on TV, so that's why they said effing A Gage. So yeah, so Gage, he says that tonight he will leave Chris Jericho in pain, and that he won't make it to the third labor of Jericho. And so Gage, he said that Jericho, he will feel the pain for the rest of his life. So yeah, so he mentioned, funny that he mentioned pain, because Jericho came out as the Painmaker later on in the main event. And so yeah, so right after that we had a match, and it was from the women, and it was Julia Hart with the Varsity Blondes. That's Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus Thunder Rosa, who is newly signed to AEW. So Thunder Rosa is signed to AEW full time. So congratulations to Thunder Rosa. And so yeah, so this match was not all that good, man. It wasn't. But yeah, so yeah, Rosa, she started using the speed against Hart. Hart tried to keep up, but she could not keep up. So yeah, so Rosa was basically using Hart's inexperience against her. And so we had chops to Hart, strikes to Hart. Hart, she fights back for a little bit, but it was not working. We had an ankle lock to Hart, but Hart grabbed the rope. And we had a drop kick to Hart in the midsection in the corner, so that had to hurt. It looked like a stiff one at that too, man. And to end the match, we had a Fire Thunder driver to Hart to win the match. So Thunder Rosa wins the match, and that was it, man. Hart, yeah, Hart, she needs more training, dude. It looked like she didn't know most of her spots in the match. She didn't, and she tried to keep up with Rosa, but she could not. So yeah, she needs more training. But yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had Jon Moxley, the purveyor of violence. He was backstage. He spoke. He talked about, he was complaining about not being able to travel to Japan to take care of business, unfinished business that he have in Japan. And so Moxley, he talked about Hiroshi Tanahashi dodging him. And, he was telling Hiroshi Tanahashi to go screw himself and saying that he's, you're dead to me. And so Moxley, he said that he is the Forbidden Door. And he said there's nothing, nothing good is coming from the other side of the Forbidden Door to you guys. And so that was it with that. And so right after that, before we get into the main event, let's talk about next week's show. So next week's show for the homecoming show. So yeah, as announced earlier, we will have the Rampage show. So it's gonna be AEW Rampage, the first dance at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. So that's Friday, August the 20th. And yeah, so next week's show we have Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. So yeah, they even have the black versus white on the promotion screen. So black representing, the devil, evil, and the devil and hell, and white representing God and heaven. So yeah, so that's next week. So black versus Cody Rhodes. And then also we have a TNT Championship match. So it's gonna be God's favorite champion, the Redeemer, Miro, who is the TNT champion, versus Lee Johnson, representing the Nightmare family, with Dustin Rhodes in his corner. That's the next week for the TNT Championship. And we have the Bunny versus legit Layla Hirsch next week. So that's going to be the NWA Women's World Championship Eliminator. So I'm guessing whoever wins this match will go up against the NWA Women's Champion. Wait, isn't Serena Deeb the champion? I think she still is the champion. And then we have Christian Cage with Jungle Boy in his corner versus The Blade with Matt Hardy in his corner. And so yeah, that's next week. So more matches probably will be announced. But those are the matches that we got for next week. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had our main event. We had the Labor of Jericho Chapter 2. So yeah, man, we had the Painmaker. So we had the Painmaker Chris Jericho versus Nick effing Gage. So yeah, so both of these guys that came out. And so right after both of these guys came out, we had MJF, his music hit. And we had the crowd was booing heavily, man. We heard a loud boo for MJF when he came out. And so MJF, he came out eating popcorn, so he joined the commentary team. So MJF is on commentary, so I love that part. And so yeah, so Gage, he had a pizza cutter in his hand, and he cut Jericho with the pizza cutter on his arm, on his upper bicep. And so Jericho, he was bleeding from his arm. And so we had a spine buster to Jericho and a superplex to Jericho, followed up by a Falcon's Arrow. So he paying homage to Seth Rollins. It wasn't as good as Seth Rollins, superplex Falcon Arrow combo, but you get the superplex and Falcon Arrow combo, and Jericho kicked out. And so at one point, Gage, he started bleeding from his forehead, and he licked his own blood, so that was disgusting, really nasty. And so Jericho, he locked in the walls of Jericho to Gage, and then Gage grabbed the rope. But, the rope breaks doesn't count because it's a no rules match. And so Gage, he had threw Jericho into the ring post. And then Gage, he went under the ring and he grabbed light tubes. I don't know what they get light tubes from. How did light tubes end up under the ring? But he grabbed light tubes that was under the ring. And so while Gage grabbed the light tubes, we had Jericho on the other side of the ring. He grabbed Floyd the Bat. And so Jericho hit Gage with the bat. And so MJF on commentary, man, this is funny, man. MJF on commentary, he said that's cheating. He can't do that. That's cheating. And so, Schiavone and everybody else is arguing with MJF like, dude, this is a no rules match. Not cheating. I love the back and forth with MJF and Tony Schiavone, man. They really hate each other. So yeah, we had a choke breaker. We had a choke breaker to Jericho. So that the choke breaker, that's like a choke slam mixed up with a backbreaker. And so Gage, he had cut Jericho with a pizza cutter again, but this time over the forehead. So Jericho was bleeding. He was bleeding even more. And so Gage, he grabbed the pizza cutter, that same pizza cutter they used to cut Jericho open. He grabbed it. He grabbed the pizza cutter and started kissing it. He started kissing it with Jericho's blood on it. So he had Jericho's blood on the pizza cutter, and Nick Gage started kissing the pizza cutter. So that was really nasty, man, disgusting. And so Gage, he took control of the match during a commercial break, picture in picture. Of course, you guessed it right. And so Gage, he started bringing in chairs. He brought in chairs and he brought in a glass. And so he set up the glass on the chairs. And so he tried to superplex, I guess. He tried to hit Jericho with a superplex on the glass, but Jericho, he turned it into a hurricanrana to Gage. So Gage went through the glass, and so Jericho went for the cover, and Gage kicked out. And so MJF was losing his mind on commentary. He was losing his mind, dude. And so we had chair shots to Gage. And so we had a code breaker. So Jericho could try to go for the code breaker. He tried to go for the code breaker, but Gage dropped him. He had caught him off of the code breaker and just dropped him on the shattered glass that was in the ring. And so Gage, he grabbed the light tubes and he started hitting Jericho with the light tubes over the back, and he hit him over the head with the light tubes. So yeah, oh my God, that had to hurt, man. Never would I take a spot like that. Never. And so we had a pile driver. We had a pile driver to Jericho on the shattered the shattered glass. And so he kicked out of that. And so Gage, he had pulled out a shank. I don't know where he got a shank from, but he had a shank, and he stabbed Jericho with the shank over his head. And so Gage, he had brought out some more light tubes. So we had a lot of light tubes out of the ring. So he brought out more light tubes. And so he was getting ready to use the light tubes, but Jericho, he had the green mist. And so he spit the green mist in Gage's face. I love that spot. I love the green mist spot. And so Jericho, he blasts Gage over the head with the light tubes. And so right after that, to end the match, we had Jericho. He hit the Judas effect to Gage to win the match. So Chris Jericho wins the match. And right after the match, Jericho, MJF, he grabbed the mic. He told the person that cut Jericho's theme music. And so MJF, he talked about labor number 3, chapter 3 of labor. The labor of Jericho, chapter 3. And so MJF, he told Jericho that he has to hit a move off of the top rope in order to win the match. And so MJF, he said that there's a reason why. And so he rolled the clip from Dynamite. It was a Dynamite episode in 2019. So this would have been when AEW first started. And this is the time when Jericho was the AEW World Champion. And Jericho was a heel. And so Jericho, he mentioned something about Juventud Guerrera. And so MJF, during that clip, MJF, he had asked, who is Juvi? And so Jericho, he told him to Google it and stuff like that. And so that was a joke. And so MJF, he didn't take it as a joke. And so MJF, he's told, like right after the clip ended, MJF, he said that, I did Google it. I did Google who Juventud Guerrera was. Juventud Guerrera was. And so Juventud was a rival of Jericho. So the enemy. So Chris Jericho's enemy when he was in WCW. And so MJF, he said that Jericho, you'll be fighting Juventud Guerrera next week in the third chapter of the Labor of Jericho next week. So Juventud Guerrera is back on TNT. I think after 20 years, they said over 20 years he's been on TNT. It'll be his first time back in TNT for over 20 years. I think that was the last time he was there. So yeah, but yeah, this is a crazy match, man. Just like what I said earlier, a crazy match. A lot of blood, man. The pizza cutter and the glass, the light tubes and all that stuff. Oh my God, really crazy. And MJF's commentary, man, I love the commentary, the back and forth that he had with Schiavone on commentary, them arguing over commentary. I thought really, really funny, man. I thought it was really funny. And the Labor of Jericho matches, I love the Labor of Jericho matches because it's like each chapter is a different version of Jericho. The first chapter it was Le Champion, Chris Jericho, just a regular Chris Jericho, and he fought Shawn Spears. And the stipulation in that match was, Shawn Spears can use a chair, but Jericho can't. In chapter 2, you had the Painmaker version of Chris Jericho, and he fought Nick Gage, and it was a no rules match, so he needed that Painmaker gimmick to, go up against somebody like a Nick Gage, a dangerous guy. And chapter 3, we just don't know which version of Jericho will he use, and yeah, which MJF, he mentioned a top rope move to win the match. Which top rope move will he use to end the match? When is the last time Jericho went over the top rope and hit a move, a high flying move? I don't think in his entire career, I don't think he had a high flying finishing move. I don't think so. A top rope finishing move? I don't know. Will he go for a moonsault because of the lion salt? I don't know. A frog splash? I don't know. But yeah, really, really interesting. We'll see what it is next week. But yeah, I love the Labor of Jericho matches because it's a different, like every chapter is different. It's a different version of Jericho. It's like chapter 1, like each chapter is evolving. The Painmaker I love the Painmaker version of Jericho, man. That's my favorite version of Jericho. The world champion Chris Jericho. Like Chris Jericho, he has a lot of versions. Like he reinvented himself like 100 million times in his entire career. And I like the Jericho that I grew up watching was the World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho when he came out in the suits. And he had the World Heavyweight Championship and he was feuding with Shawn Michaels. That's the Jericho I grew up watching, man. So which version of Jericho will we get? I don't know, but we'll find out. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it with Dynamite, man. Really good show. Great show, man. Love the main event. And it was just a stacked show. Really stacked show. And a lot of excitement going into the show. And Gage and Jericho as the main event, rightfully so. Rightfully so, man. When I found out it was the main event, I was like, hell yeah, man. That deserved to be the main event. And so yeah, man. That was it. That was it with Dynamite and Dynamite Fight for the Fallen. And if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And then right next to that subscribe button is a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded because I'm here every single week. Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesday for AEW Dynamite, Thursday for Impact Wrestling, and Saturday, Sunday for pay-per-views. And so yeah, man. And follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah. And comment down below. Comment down below. Tell me how you felt about this episode of AEW Dynamite. And share this video. Share this video with each and every single person that you come across on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, if you missed my last week's review of AEW Dynamite, the video is going to be right up here in this corner. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. So make sure you check that video out if you missed anything. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys for Thursday for Impact Wrestling. So yeah, man, I'll see you guys on Thursday for Impact Wrestling. And yeah. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. I'll see you guys on Saturday for that homecoming show for Impact Wrestling, their pay-per-view. So I've forgotten about that. You know, it felt like we just came off of a pay-per-view, but we have another pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling. So yeah, man. But I'll see you guys on Saturday for that homecoming show. And yeah, man. And yeah, once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, thank you, and thank you, man. And I'll see you guys for Thursday for Impact Wrestling. And yeah, man. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.